Hello, welcome, and thank you for joining us today for the next webinar in our What's New series. It's the first one of the new year, so Happy New Year. In today's webinar, we'll cover some of the newest features in Microsoft 365 that you can implement in your business, as well as covering some brand new features that give us a bit of an insight into the future of where Microsoft is headed. Don't feel like you need to make notes or take it all in straight away, as we'll be sending out a recording of this webinar later today, along with a fact sheet covering all the new features that we're going to be talking about. Also, if you have questions throughout the webinar, please do feel free to drop those into the Q&A box at the side at any time. There will be a time for dedicated questions at the end, but I'll do my best to keep an eye on that Q&A box as we go along as well. So let's take a look at the agenda that we'll be talking about today. First up, we've got the new Microsoft feed, which shows you the latest relevant content from your organisation. Virtual appointments that join the lineup of meeting types in Microsoft Teams. There are extended capabilities for co-organisers to manage breakout rooms in Teams. There are improved commenting options for Microsoft Whiteboard. And also find out what you're looking for faster with video transcript search. Finally, we'll be looking at the Bedrock strategy review and taking a look at what's next in this webinar series. So for those of you who maybe haven't joined us before, let's start with a welcome. My name's Jennifer Benge and I am the marketing manager at Bedrock. Bedrock is an IT managed service provider and Microsoft partner. This means that most of the IT we implement is based on the Microsoft stack. This includes Microsoft 365, Teams, Azure, SharePoint, etc. We're also experts in secure, resilient networks and managed IT solutions where high performance is critical. This means we work with organisations that have some of the highest security requirements in the UK. The most important thing we want to achieve, no matter what your business does, is to make sure that your IT strategy is supporting your business as a whole. We do this with the help of our 8 strategic rocks that you can see on the screen here now. These rocks are skills, data, backup, strategy, investment, security, quality of service, and finally collaboration. The collaboration rock is the focus of today's webinar, as Microsoft 365 and Microsoft Teams are mostly collaboration tools. And many people have these tools implemented in their businesses, but aren't using them to their full capacity. This means that sometimes you're perhaps spending a lot, there's a lot of financial outlay on tools that just aren't getting used at all, or aren't getting used to their full capacity and ability. So we've designed this webinar series to make sure you stay on top of all of the new features coming to these apps and tools that you've probably already got, to make sure that you're using them to their best ability. So let's kick off with the first of our new features we'll be talking about this month. We'll be kicking off with this new feature that we actually have to take ourselves back to October last year first to give ourselves a reminder about. This was when Microsoft announced that the Office.com app will be changing to the Microsoft 365 app, or Microsoft365.com. Up until now, the changes have been pretty much just about the branding. So you can see on the left-hand side there, the icons have started to change from the old Office icon to the new Microsoft 365 icon. And it's mostly just been about appearance, and there's not been much functional change yet. However, Microsoft have now slowly started to roll out the actual updates, starting with the new Microsoft feed. The Microsoft feed will provide a mix of relevant content across Microsoft 365. It helps you discover and learn about people and content across your Microsoft 365, all of your organisation, which is relevant to you. The feed is personal to you and shows content based on what's likely to be most interesting to you at that time. So it includes things like latest document edits, upcoming Teams meetings, and emails that you might want to chase up. As you would expect, only content that you have permission to view would appear in your own personal feed. The Microsoft feed will be accessible on the left navigation panel of the Microsoft 365 website, and it's due in February sometime, so keep an eye out for it coming soon. The other features that will be coming to the updated Microsoft 365 app at some point this year include tagging, which is a new feature that helps you individually group content with custom tags, regardless of where that content is stored. So you might have a filing system that allows you to put files under certain headings, but there's sometimes things that are relevant across multiple files. So you can tag those with the same tag and therefore access them in one big group and view all that content in the same place using that new tagging feature. So we'll update you when that's actually available and we know more about it some point later this year. The other new feature coming to the updated Microsoft 365 app is the Apps module. The new Apps module allows you to connect users to Microsoft 365 apps beyond the normal Word, Excel, PowerPoint, etc., to use third-party apps that have integrated with Microsoft 365. So perhaps you're already using some third-party apps in your Teams feed. On the left-hand side, you can add all sorts of integrated apps there. This will just extend that functionality into Microsoft 365 as a whole. So you'll be able to use any integrated apps that are useful in your organization across the whole of your Microsoft 365. Next up, we have virtual appointments, which are rolling out soon. This new feature will appear under the new meeting dropdown when you schedule a new meeting in your calendar. The main difference between a virtual appointment and a standard Teams meeting is that external meeting invitees will receive a customized meeting invitation that includes key appointment details and a quick join button, which then allows them to join the meeting from anywhere without downloading Teams. They will then enter a pre-appointment waiting room before the meeting begins. So this is good if it's someone external to your organisation. You need to have a quick appointment with, something like a job interview, for example. You can send them this and they'll easily be able to get into your environment, join that meeting without having to download anything at all to get in there. You can see in the screenshots that there will also be features such as boxes to include the attendees' contact details and notes. So if someone doesn't turn up to their appointment, you've got all their contact information right there to chase them up. This is an example of how the new virtual appointment will look on a mobile device. Again, the attendee will be able to access this view without having a Microsoft Teams account or even having the app downloaded on their phone. They'll literally just be able to click a link, get this view and be straight into the appointment. Here, the virtual appointment meeting type is being used as a platform to conduct a job interview. So you can see everything, all the information you need to join that interview is there on the left-hand side. As soon as you join, you are allocated a waiting room space, and as soon as the meeting organizer attends, they'll be able to let you in and start that appointment. So again, this is coming really soon. Keep an eye out for it. You might be thinking, hang on, I've heard about virtual appointments before, and you'd be right. At Microsoft Ignite back in October, Microsoft unveiled a premium version of Teams. The public preview became available in December, and the full version of Teams Premium is rolling out now. As you can see on the screenshot here, virtual appointment is a feature that will be coming to Microsoft Teams Premium as well. In the preview that we looked at in November's webinar, we saw that Teams Premium will help you to automatically pick the right option for your meeting, and one of these options was the virtual appointment. This is in the drop-down meeting options under the new meeting tab at the top of the screen. The version of virtual appointments that you'll get in Teams Premium unlocks advanced virtual appointments capabilities that your organisation can use to manage and personalise the experience slightly more than you would be able to do in this new standard version that's going to be rolling out soon. These include a queue view of scheduled and on-demand appointments, SMS text notifications, so you could send a text to the person that the appointment is with just to remind them of the time of their appointment and to chase them up to make sure they'll be attending on time. Custom waiting rooms and analytics around those virtual appointments as well. So that's an example of some of the technology that Microsoft have been working on for the premium version of Teams that's kind of seeping into the standard version of Teams. Although obviously the standard version won't have the all singing, all dancing capabilities that the premium version will have, it's kind of, we're getting the best of both worlds. Perhaps if you don't need that full-blown premium account, you are still getting some of these new features coming down into the standard version as well, to allow you to use partial versions of these new features. If you want to remind yourself of some of the other features that will be in Teams Premium, check out the recording of the November What's New webinar, and you can do that on our website or on our YouTube channel. The next new feature that we're looking at this month is updates for co-organisers in Teams meetings. So this one we talked about way back in June last year. We talked about how organisers are now able to share control of their meetings by assigning the new co-organiser role to up to 10 meeting attendees. Co-organisers were given some of the same capabilities as the organiser, including management of meeting options, but there were some capabilities that they were missing. So firstly, a reminder of how to use this feature. You click into a meeting that you've organised within Teams and select the meeting options button, which I've circled in yellow there on the screen. This will open a new page of meeting options and you'll see the Choose Co-organisers line in there. Then you simply just have to type the names of the people that you want to help you as co-organisers, and they'll be able to manage all your meeting options from there. This is useful for scenarios such as if you have an executive assistant booking meetings on your behalf, but you both need to access the meeting controls in case anything changes. So that's the standard option that we discussed already last June. And here are the new updates that are coming to this co-organiser role. So from now forwards, co-organisers will be displayed as additional organisers on the meeting roster, and they will have most of the capabilities of an organiser in the meeting. With this latest update, co-organisers can do the following. They can access and change meeting options, they can bypass the lobby, they can admit people from the lobby during a meeting, they can lock the meeting, they can present content, they can change another participant's meeting role, and they can end the meeting for all. Even with this new update, there are some things that they still cannot do. And these are the following, which are create and manage the breakout rooms in that meeting, view and download attendance reports, manage the meeting recording, edit the meeting invitation, and remove or change the organiser role. Now, that lack of ability to actually create and manage the breakout rooms is what annoyed people the first time that Microsoft announced this new co-organiser role. But there is a fix for that, which we're going to look at now. So this feature in itself isn't actually completely new, but while we're on the topic of breakout rooms, I just wanted to cover it quickly because this is something that people often miss, and it is incredibly frustrating. If you think you've got everything sorted by having that co-organiser in the meeting with you to help you arrange your breakout rooms, and it's something they can't actually do as standard. So you can extend the management of breakout rooms to specific presenters. This feature means that you can add and remove presenters as breakout room managers. Once in control of a room, the breakout room manager can assign users to rooms, add or delete the rooms, open or close the rooms, reassign users to different rooms, perhaps if you're swapping groups around during the meeting. They can send announcements, they can recreate rooms, they can set a timer, and they can adjust the other breakout room settings. So it is slightly fiddly that perhaps you can't immediately, as a co-organiser, have all of these breakout room options as well. It's a bit annoying, but at least there is a workaround now that allows you to have some help as the meeting organiser to get other people to help you organise those breakout rooms. Okay, moving on in the agenda to the next feature that we've got as a new feature this month. It's quite a simple one, this. When we've discussed Microsoft Whiteboard in the past, there aren't too many people that use it all the time, so I'm going to just cover this option briefly. But if you are an avid user of Microsoft Whiteboard, please do tell me, because there's definitely more updates in Microsoft Whiteboard that we can cover if the interest is there. So modern commenting is coming to Microsoft Whiteboard. You might be thinking, what on earth is modern commenting? So what Microsoft mean by modern commenting is that you'll be able to add comments and questions to the Whiteboard brainstorms in the same way that you can add to a Word document, for example, currently. So I've just put some screenshots on the screen at the moment which show how you can do this in Word, and a rather blurry little example that we've been given by Microsoft so far of how this will be achieved in Microsoft Whiteboard as well. So you'll be able to click on the part of the board that you want to comment on, and a speech bubble will appear there. All of the comments from the entire board itself will also be collated in a panel at the side of the board. So this is the same as it's done in a Word document. If you want to comment on a specific part of the Word document, a speech bubble will appear in that line. And also you'll be able to see all the comments in one panel at the side. So you can work your way through them and make sure nothing is missed. So this update to Microsoft Whiteboard with modern commenting is coming anytime between now and late February. So if you are a Microsoft Whiteboard user and you think this will be helpful, I can see, thank you, someone has commented saying, yep, we use Whiteboard. Yeah, so keep an eye out. If you think this feature will be handy to you, it will be coming out between now and late February. So you'll be able to keep track of any comments that come up in those Whiteboard meetings and make sure that you act on them either during the meeting or afterwards. Okay. Next up, we're looking at video transcript search. So this feature allows users who are viewing a video to search for keywords contained in the video transcript. I know personally this is something that's been quite annoying in the past that I haven't been able to do using Microsoft Steam video, because I end up using third-party video providers just to be able to search for that bit of transcript that I need when it's been an incredibly long meeting and I just need to get a specific quote or something out of that transcript. So really pleased that this feature is now coming to Microsoft 365 in the video transcript search. This allows you to search for keywords contained in that transcript. This feature is available on video files that have transcripts and are stored in OneDrive or SharePoint. It's due sort of any time now, really. We've been told mid-January to late February. As you can see on the screenshot on the screen right now, I don't have it quite yet. I've just pointed an arrow at where it should be appearing. And on the right there, that's an example that we've been given of where this new feature will appear. So hopefully, if you're looking at a video transcript and you're looking for either a mention of your name, perhaps if you know that you were called to do something and you need a reminder, or just any kind of keyword that you're looking for, you'll be able to use that button in the right-hand panel just to search for any keyword that you might need to find in a transcript. So that is coming mid-January to late February. Again, the video transcript search reminds me of a lighter weight version of one of the new features coming to Teams Premium, which is Intelligent Recap for Teams meetings. With Intelligent Recap, AI basically does the hard work of searching through the transcript for you, giving you personalised highlights from the meetings that help you discover the information that matters to you most. So it does this by using AI to make the meetings you attend and miss more productive and impactful. First of all, Intelligent Recap uses AI to suggest action items and owners so that follow-ups are not missed. It's kind of like having a virtual assistant attending every meeting that you're in, just following up afterwards and reminding you of any actions that were agreed or anything that had your name connected to it that you might need to act on. After the meeting, Intelligent Recap will create smarter recordings with automatically generated chapters and insights, such as when your name was mentioned, when a screen was shared, or when you left a meeting early, to help you discover important moments and quickly catch up. So, similar to what we were talking about earlier with some of the features from Microsoft Teams Premium seeping into the standard version, this is a similar idea. Microsoft are giving us the same transcript search technology as part of the standard Microsoft 365 license, but they're not giving us the fancy virtual assistant to go with it, unfortunately. Again, I covered this in more detail in the November webinar, so you can catch up on that to decide if perhaps all of these fancy features that come with Teams Premium would be valuable enough in your organisation to justify the extra. At the moment, we're being told it will be $10 per user per month that it's expected to cost. Or perhaps you're just happy with the standard feature, the new transcript search that you can do manually will be enough to get by with your organisation. That's something that you can decide, and it's Microsoft Teams Premium will be becoming fully available in February this year. So you've got time to kind of weigh up the options, see the total covering of what Microsoft Teams Premium includes, and decide from there whether you want to bite the bullet and go for the extra licensing cost, or just stick with what you've got and see how many of perhaps these new premium features will kind of steadily stream down into the standard version as well. Okay, finally, this one I didn't have time to add to the agenda because it was a quick one that I just saw last minute, but I thought was going to be pretty useful for us. Adobe has released a new integration of Adobe Acrobat into Microsoft Teams. So Adobe Acrobat can now be set as the default PDF app in Teams, and this makes it easier to view and share and review PDFs. You can collaborate with comments and annotations, easily access those PDFs stored in Microsoft SharePoint and Microsoft OneDrive into your Teams account. So I don't know about you, sometimes when you're opening a PDF in Teams, it can be slightly annoying because you have a bit of delay while it opens in a separate program. This should hopefully iron out any of those problems that we might sometimes have. To access this new integration, your IT admin must set Acrobat as the default PDF app. So if you're not the admin for your organisation, this is something that you'll need to get them to do for you. And they do this through the Teams Admin Centre. Once the app is set as default, all PDF files from chat, channels, and files will open directly in the Acrobat app within Teams. So instead of opening a separate app, it will just be opened within the Teams app. Users won't need an Adobe Acrobat subscription or Adobe ID to view the PDF files, but you will need an Acrobat Standard or Pro account for premium features. So the same as just if you were using Acrobat as a standalone app and you wanted to do things like editing, you would need a license to be able to do that. But the standard, being able to view PDFs through Acrobat, that will all be integrated into this Teams option. So a quick little feature, if you want to have a word with your IT admins to enable this for you, it should be available soon. Keep an eye. And yeah, I think it's a nice simple option that's going to just take the edge off of some of the annoying features that you get when you open a PDF in Teams. Okay, let's move on. So a few of you will have heard about this before. It's Bedrock's new security review workshop, which is a one-day interactive workshop where you get to work with one of the Bedrock technical team to analyse the security features you already have in place in your organisation and perhaps find any gaps or holes where attackers could still potentially find a way in. During the course of this security review workshop, you will discover where you could be duplicating investment into cybersecurity tools that are all doing the same job. Again, similar to what we've talked about with some of the Microsoft features, sometimes you'll be paying too much money for multiple tools that are all doing the same thing. You'll also be able to check that you're meeting requirements for your cyber insurance policy. We know that cyber insurance policies are getting harder and harder to get as it is because they're really cracking down and really refusing to pay out in quite a lot of instances if you've not monitored and managed your own cybersecurity properly. And you'll also be able to find out where the cracks are in your technology environment that leave you open to attack. So we've got a limited number of spaces opening for this workshop each month. So if you think that this might benefit you at all and benefit the security of your organisation, please do reach out and ask us about getting booked into one of these review workshops. If even that seems a bit beyond your capabilities at the moment as an organisation, perhaps you've got bigger problems at the moment, you've got an entire strategy you need to sort out. Maybe you've just arrived at a new organisation and you're a bit blown away by the strategy they've already got in place. And we also offer a strategic IT review that gives you the facts you need to make meaningful change, whether that's to drive adoption of new technology, hire a new internal lead, or brief an alternative technology provider. The Bedrock IT Strategic Review gets you to an executable plan. It takes between 5 and 20 days, and you will work with a consultant IT director and their technical team to give you all the facts you need to make informed decisions about the best way forward for your organisation. So again, if that's something you think could benefit your organisation, then please do reach out. We would be happy to help. Right, let's take a look at some of the Q&As that have come in. I can see we've got a few waiting here. Is this for recording in Teams? So we're talking about the video transcript option there. That is for anything that's saved within OneDrive or SharePoint. Nearly combine the two then. And in Microsoft's Steam to save any of your video files in there. So you'll be able to use that to discover a transcript of any of your video files that are saved in there. It will obviously also work for recordings in Teams. So that's probably the thing that would be most useful for if you've had a long meeting and you want to provide a transcript for either yourself or to share out. But it will work for any video that's saved in OneDrive or SharePoint. Is there a license requirement for the video transcript search? No. So this will be coming as a standard feature. It's already included in your Microsoft 365 account, and we're just waiting for this transcript part of it to roll out. So as I was saying, there is a kind of fancier version that will be in Microsoft Teams Premium that allows AI to do the hard work for you of finding things within that transcript. But just the transcript search itself will be available as part of the standard Teams license. Can you set up someone else as an organizer for breakout rooms before a meeting starts? I believe you can, Debbie. I think we've had this conversation before, because I know breakout rooms have been a big headache for some organizations, because some people use them a lot and it hasn't been completely ironed out from the beginning by Microsoft. So I will double check that for you, but I'm pretty sure there is now also a workaround for setting up an organizer for breakout rooms before the meeting itself starts. Do we have any documentation that we can share for admins configuring the setup of Adobe as the default PDF reader in Teams? We don't have any specific Bedrock documentation that I can share with you, but there is a web page specifically about how admins need to get that done, Christopher. So I can certainly share that link with you, so you'll be able to share that with your admin team as well. The Adobe app in Teams, is that available now? It's one of those that's rolling out. So again, some people might have it now. Some people might have to wait a little bit longer. It's one of those annoying things. So you, especially as it's not generally immediately available, you'll need to get your IT admins to look for that for you. So all I can say is, if I share that, we'll share that link with everyone who's been in this meeting. I'm happy to do that. The Microsoft link of how admins need to set up that Adobe integration. And if you get your IT admin teams to keep an eye out for that. And it's just a case of keep checking back, really, which is frustrating, but we have been told it is rolling out now and should be available at some point very soon. Okay, I think I've covered most of the main points. If we've got any other further questions coming in. Someone's very kindly shared a Microsoft link for setting up breakout rooms. So I will publish that. Thank you very much, Anonymous, for helping Debbie out there with her question. But Debbie, happy to have another conversation about that as well after this webinar. So I just wanted to say then, if we've got no further questions, I would like to draw your attention to the next webinar that we've got coming soon, which is in February. We'll be going back to the standard first week of the month when we get to February. So the next one will be taking place on the 2nd of February, and you can register for your place now on the Bedrock website or in the link that Cara has very kindly just put in the announcements just now. So there's a link right there if you want to sign up straight away for the next one. Hopefully we'll have a bit more clarity around some of the actual final release dates for some of the things we've talked about today, and the next set of even newer features that are coming out to keep an eye out for. So thank you very much once again for joining us today. It's been a pleasure to see so many of you here again, and I look forward to seeing you again in February. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good day.